Hello, welcome back to the GG.Bet Beijing Invitational. There's a lot of Bs in there, but we've got a lot of forZe and OpTic coming up next. And this was the final of the New York Invitational, our last one we just had a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, forZe, they fell short, but OpTic were the victors. But we'll see if we'll have a little bit of rematch going on. We'll see if forZe can get their comeuppance.
Yeah, absolutely. forZe obviously going to be feeling pretty good about themselves, having an excellent performance in Moscow this past weekend. So they're going to be, not short of confidence. But the cool thing about OpTic, ever since we saw them qualify for New York, they've just been practicing. That's all they've been doing, to the point where MSL was out and about talking about it on social media. The fact that they've done nothing but prep. They feel super confident about this I guess, string of tournaments that they're going to be attending now in the future. And usually when MSL teams have that kind of prep time, they come out looking super duper strong. So I think this could be just quite the nail biter, honestly. And I mean, it already was in the previous matchup that we had to have OpTic go to New York. So I'm really excited for this one. Yeah,
for OpTic, it kind of feels like they've never really got going, right? It's been months, it's been nearly a year, I feel, that we just haven't seen this team attend events. And finally, I feel it was like this is the start for this team. This is where they've had the time to practice. They've got a string of events coming up and a chance here to maybe get to another one as well.
Yeah, and one of the big things that we noticed in the last Invitational was the fact that at the time, obviously, it was just temporary, but Cajun was playing instead of Refresh in the lineup. And we noticed immediate effects of that as well. Cajun's always been that kind of a glue guy, the guy who just elevates a team, even though he's not necessarily the one to top frag or do something crazy. He's always going to be just that secure, safe player that takes your team one step up. And that seemed to be very much the case as well for OpTic as well. So a couple of days go past after they qualify for New York. They announced the fact that he's going to be a full fifth after all, which I think is a step in the right direction. It feels like OpTic are more back to having a clear identity in terms of roles, in terms of what players they want to move forward with. And if you can then set up that follow that up with the amount of prep time they've had for this, I think we should not necessarily be worried for forZe, but we should be hopeful on the side of OpTic that they can actually provide some good Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a very close game. We kind of knew the first matchup was going to be a whitewash, really, with seeing mousesports progress forward into the winner's game. This one's a little bit more up in the air. I'm going to find this one a lot more difficult to call, just based on we know how good forZe are in these stages of the Invitationals. They've pretty much walked through all of them flawlessly. But this time it's a little harder for them. They've got probably the strongest group. You've got three big teams in there. You've got OpTic, mousesports, and OpTic. And forZe, should I say. And they're the three teams that we could say that could be potential winners of the entire Invitational.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, maps are obviously going to play a big part of it. And I think they're in many ways. I mean, we're not going to see Vertigo because that's an immediate ban for forZe, which is something OpTic plays. But yeah, a map like Mirage that actually fits both teams pretty damn well.
Yeah, well, Mirage is a map we have seen both of these teams like to go towards. And it certainly is one of the best maps as well. We've seen forZe and OpTic pick this as their opening matchup a lot in the Invitationals. So we'll see what they have prepared on Mirage. MSL looking for a pick in towards ramp. Two players running on in as csgomc will bite the dust as Flit drive-by drops him.
Nico's going to get a response onto Jerry. So that's the forward player in jungle down. Nico now caught in a corner, but nobody for forZe actually locking him in. And that's actually going to allow him to get a second frag.
Really scrappy pistol here for both teams, really. A lot of missed shots coming through. Flit will be the man standing alone. 7 HP inside of the A bomb site with still 1 minute and 10 seconds to play with.
Flit spotted one, but I'm not sure if he knows that MSL is still, or he might think that player is MSL. As you said, on 7 HP. The second he showcases himself from any which angle, could be for config over on short, he's probably going to fall. Yeah, too many targets to keep track of, so pistol round goes the way of the Danes. And as you said, a pretty scrappy affair. A little bit surprised by forZe's decision-making there to start things off. We saw FaceCrack having locked Nico in, more or less, in the corner over towards jungle, but actually deciding to fall back to head over towards the bomb site. So it didn't really seem like they had a clear idea if they wanted to, or they couldn't decide on whether they wanted to push and take control over towards jungle, or if they wanted to reshift focus over towards spawn. Nonetheless, OpTic make the most out of it. And it feels real weird calling them OpTic because we know they're not going to be a part of OpTic. But they're not ex-OpTic.
They're still OpTic, though. It's just that there has to be sort of a deadline.
Contract line kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Could it be 1st of October, maybe?
It'd be interesting to see which organization decides to sign OpTic, because surely this team can't go that long without an organization.
You say that, right? But then you had I guess the year lull that we talked about, where they haven't been too enticing as a team. But again, qualifying for New York, big step in the right direction. If they can follow that up, then we might be cooking with something. Okay, Config eventually manages to down face crack. The follow-up is very slow and labored, though, on the side of forZe. Even trades, though, and actually, yeah, the advantage lies with forZe for a little bit here. It's only for a little bit, though. As you can see, MSL creeping up the B apps, but Z-Power has found his spot. Now it's Cajun all by his lonesome. This would be quite the devastating loss for OpTic here to get us going. There's no kit either. Well, look at that. Pretty minimal investment on the side of forZe is going to work out. Just the defense on OpTic not getting a whole lot out of it. SMG is not providing the needed firepower. Back at it again. forZe equalizing the score early on. OpTic on there. They don't really have too many choices here in terms of what they can do, but it's going to be forced by actually a Colt in the hands of Nico.
Still love that. Scout. Still love the term Colt.
Yeah, I'm old. And well, it's not going to be around for a whole lot longer, so I'm not going to be faced by it. Nobody can pick on my age.
You old man.
Yeah.
Well, MSL, he'll land the shot on the Scout that does so much damage, but Almazer and FaceCrack taking 2 kills. GG.Bet and Tessus are into a 2v4, and well, Almazer will drop him. It's all on to Tessus, a 1 versus 4. And Almazer was the player that had that incredible performance against ENCE when Z-Power couldn't see anyone.
Yeah, that was a bit of a wild one. The ENCE just continuously batting, or trying to batter that B-bomb side on Inferno. Z-Power just kind of hanging out. Even attempting to go down into mid, checking into second mid, all that kind of stuff. Tried to be proactive, but just didn't see anyone. Ended up with a total of 8 frags and a single death.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. We never really see that.
KD fans love it though. Like,
oh yeah, if you're a player that if you're a fan that just looks at the KD stats and just see the,
he's like, oh my god,
what a player.
To be fair,
did nothing in like 9 runs in a row.
To be fair, though, Z-Power is kind of that player, so
true.
He will make you ooh and ah. Now, bit of an all-in attempt from OpTic here. 4 players around stairs. They're going to set up FaceCrack as a bit of an early decoy to see what he can find. Expands through the smoke. Not going to find a frag. It's actually Tessus on the boost. It's behind the smoke that nets it. But
oh my god.
Okay then.
That is filthy. 3 kills line up for Jerry on the Kree. And yes, they're the low buy, but still beautiful to watch.
I was ready for the double. I didn't see how it would actually find 3.
The wild spray of the Kree works wonders as FaceCrack comes in for the final kill. Config walks away with 1, and it's OpTic trailing behind 3-1 here. 4 is off to a good start. Their T side is always a scary prospect for any team that plays against them.
Yeah, it really is. They just have such a good flow and such good dynamic, and they're really good at playing off of each other. Even in really awkward situations where they go a man or 2 down, they can still make any sort of round costly for a CT side, if not even turn it on its head completely. So you're never really out of the woods when you play against forZe. They're showcasing more and more on a consistent basis how good they are just individually. FaceCrack, even though taking a fair bit of damage, still have made his way up through short here. And you can tell OpTic are aware of this. Early rotation over. Tessus has been spotted.
Ooh.
But Nico, yeah, that early rotation from windows really doing them in there.
Well, Z-Power is going to be looking for a kill that might pull it back for forZe here. No one really overextending on the A-bomb site though, as MSL is playing from Sandwich. And Config is going to get the right time in Z-Power cut off. His pants are down and Config has exploited that. There will be a headshot from Flip finally pulled back for forZe, but it's not enough just yet. Still the man deficit as they try and move through the B apartments. There's still a minute left on the clock. So they still have an option to fall back and try and see what's going on elsewhere.
Speaking of elsewhere, though, Jerry, he has been able to make his way out of apps, but the problem is he has no idea about MSL, who's pushed aggressively down into pit.
Yeah, that's the end of him. MSL, good positioning, good proactive play, gathering information as well as config will fall inside of the B bomb site. Nico hopping through the window is caught by Almazer, and suddenly it's the man advantage for the T side. The bomb is on the A bomb site as well, as MSL's going to walk away. That is unbelievable from forZe that they've been able to pull this back.
This has worked out in the best possible fashion because, again, if Almazer just kind of hangs out here and doesn't give up his positioning too early, there's no reason for MSL to believe it's going to be planted anywhere else. But this is a pretty big tell. Jerry's going to get his move on, get the bomb, Flit, I mean, going to get the move on, get the bomb down. MSL needs to come up big here. Not able to, and, well, we talked about these rounds that start off wonky for forZe. They're never really out of it, are they? Almazer finding those 2 frags on the B bomb site, turning everything on its head. 4 rounds in a row.
That really should have been around for OpTic. It looks so good for them. It's unbelievable, but it just turns around like that.
Yeah, it is a bit of a wild notion, and if forZe are going to have, well, those kind of margins going their way.
Yeah, that's the thing. We talk about this being a close game. Small margins really do go far, and it's not the start OpTic we're looking for, but
that was Z-Power.
That was, yeah. I looked at the CT, so I was like,
there's
what?
no op.
There's no op. Surely that wasn't them.
Like, surely the D's a hand cannon. It's fine and all, but it's a bit much.
That definitely hurt my brain a little bit.
Oh, brain wrinkled and boost set up here. Config might wide out eventually once he's got the angle over.
What?
And talk about having an angle.
I can't even see him from Flit's perspective.
Flip probably equally confused as to what just happened. That should be a bit of a tell that there is a boost.
Yeah.
Once again, Jerry is just hanging out over towards A Palace, not making too much noise, too much out of himself. He's actually going to rotate back to follow Tune with the rest of his team, and depending on what MSL decides to do, that could actually be pretty lethal. But for now, Config is going to be forced to get a response here. He finds the second player in mid.
Yeah, that's really solid from Config again. 2 kills being collected. forZe start to make their way in towards the B bomb site where Tessis is currently waiting. He also has Config to back him up, so at least 1 kill should come in here, and you're really looking at the victim to be face cracked. 12 HP, 1 bullet to any area of the body should be enough from a deagle, and Config is going to be looking for his 3rd of the round, but there it is. Tessis is going to pick off face crack. Almazer will drop Tessis, but there's 9 seconds. They need to get onto the bomb site, and Config's found another. forZe taking way too long, and they've lost the round in the end here. Config gets the kill again. 4 for him on the deagle. Well played.
Well played at all. No, well played indeed. OpTic actually managed to get it done with limited weaponry there. Deagle headshots from Config. There you see the shot. Yeah, no reason, like no wonder Flit actually couldn't see anything. That was so quick. Darted in and out.
So many nice shots from him.
Absolutely. Talked about him finally becoming activated again, right?
Yeah.
Showing signs of his former self. Now that we see MSL get grips and kind of have his way with the team.
I love that flash. That's really, really nice. Kind of prevents any mid peek there from MSL. So even though forZe aren't playing with mid here, they're not going out, they still have control of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Puts a bit of an added pressure. forZe now, though, very, very passive setup here to start us off. Mazer with the Molotov for stairs. That's pretty much all he's going to do. It was, yeah, not exactly selling a fake of any sorts, but I guess you've...
limited a position.
Yeah, and you've also had Cajun using his Molotov, so that's something, but we'll see what they can get out of this. Re-smoke in towards window. Just a slow...
It's going to be a beast play, surely
yeah,
here.
it's a slow crawl up catwalk. And to be fair, with them being so silent and pretty much keeping OpTic in the dark. It means that there's no cheat rotation over towards this B-bomb site.
Missed shot from MSL as well. Tess is able to find one on the face crack. He's looking back for more, but faces against the op of Z-Power, who will come out on top of that battle. So into a 4v4 with 35 seconds left. forZe still not yet on the bomb site. They're going to send Jerry in towards A to see what he can find.
They have different ideas. Is he going to catch the rotation or is he going to go for the side? He's going to try to find a rotation, and he does. That's Cajun. Out of commission for now. Config completely isolated. Yeah, he needs to be ice cold here though. Time's starting to tick down as well, so bomb denial could be pretty big. He's not going for it. Oh well, I mean, mission accomplished for Flit, and Config's only going to be good for one. This should be forZe's round. They still have one player up towards ladder room as well.
I think they might have Config there might have thought they know where he was, but unfortunately for him they didn't, and Z-Power will take away MSL. There'll be a kill coming in. It's all on Nico. Scope in hand. 3 players to find. He'll tap the bomb and scope again, trying to beat the peak, and there it is for Jerry, going right through on towards him. Nico will hit the deck, and that's 2 on the board from OpTic. And if there was a lot of practice going on, it's not looking too solid at the minute from OpTic.
It's not coming through, at least at the time being, but you know, still early days. We could still. I mean, you said it already, right? The T side of forZe is not necessarily an easy thing to tackle, regardless of what team you are. We've seen that multiple times throughout these invitational with forZe in them. So, no reason to completely panic just yet.
They are saving quite a bit of cash here, though, on the OpTic side. Config has enough to drop an op in the next round as well, so probably see him throw that on over, receive a rifle from someone else, and maybe see some God MSL plays.
Yeah, he's been super consistent actually with that op. In hand, Almazar not going to be aware of Config's aggressive position.
It's almost, it's very strange to see him do that. It's almost autopilot for most players just to check that right corner.
Yeah. Even if you've had the angle for the longest of times, you're just always doing it.
Well, 1 kill does go MSL's, should I say, Config's way. MSL, the receiving end, he will fall with forZe getting that kill through. So it's going to be a push in towards the V-bomb site with Tessis trying to hold on, but Flit will drop him without a single kill. And Flit will continue to look down the barrel as Nico will hit the deck, and it will be a 2v4. The bomb planted, time ticking. forZe looking for their 6th.
Config's good for at least the second one in this round, and now he needs to leg it. He doesn't get far, though, trying to hold on to that AK. Shut down by Z-Power. So, forZe, early days and already at 6 rounds. They have to be feeling pretty damn good about themselves and the situation they find themselves in.
Definitely. This is not going the way OpTic would have wanted, for sure, at the start of this, but they have a chance to turn that around. You know, they have a buy coming in here. If they find some success and they find a chance to build some momentum, they can even end this half ahead. It's not out of the realms of possibility. Z-Power going for a pick in towards ramp, hoping there's a player crossing, but doesn't spot anyone. And doesn't want to commit himself there too long, so eventually falls away. Great mid-take here from the CT side. Top mid-smoke coming in, and that allows Config to get safely in behind the boxes.
Yeah. See how long they decide to hold their positions here. You can see Configs being wary of somebody potentially walking through catwalk. It's not been the case just yet, and he's also got eyes on underpass. He's gonna, well, have to give up his position. Let's see if he actually stands his ground or not. MSL now focusing on underpass. Finds one. Alleviates a lot of pressure from Config. Now he can actually back his teammate up. This is interesting, yeah. Z-Power's just completely ignoring Config. He's expecting MSL to come up and be some added help.
Wow, that's
how you solve that puzzle.
Molotov goes in, face crack just destroys Config, and Z-Power finds the second. They read that so well. They knew exactly how to deal with that.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see out of forZe. They handle that about as good as you can. Now the focus is going to be over towards that A-bomb site. This time it's not Config alone, it's Cajun. He hasn't had the hottest start to the game so far. 0 kills to his name. He's going to need to change that tune if they're going to have a shot at bringing this round back.
GG.Bet holding default. That's the bomb, the first player to drop. And Jerry cleared the trade in almost instantaneously as Nico looking to deny the bomb plant. Almazar is Currently planting in the smoke, but it's Tessus who catches that one. And Z-Power into a 1v2 clutch. Has to try and find both players. And the time is gone. Not enough time for Z-Power to even have a chance at that. So well played from OpTic.
Yeah. So, yeah, when Nico can't actually get the connection through the boxes, it's Tessus through the smoke. But it's not necessarily a sustainable way of winning rounds, to put it that way.
Definitely not.
So
but they'll take everyone that they can.
Absolutely. The problem is now that when you look at the rebuy, it's not going to be the greatest on their end. They are rocking 2 SMGs. One benefit, actually, is the fact that we don't see a force coming in from force. Well, so only the saved op. Z-Power not deciding to buy into it, but I guess you might not need more.
He has just hit csgo in the legs, dropped MSL.
Yeah.
It's only been a few seconds, so certainly have an impact with the op.
So like at this point, maybe if you were forced, you kind of wish Z-Power had dropped an AK, Phase Crack would have bought up at the Galil or something. But again, Z-Power might be just good enough to do it all on his own. Right now, though, focus has been shifted back towards mid. Only Jerry left over towards A Pals, where he's been for the majority of the game. He seems to find that timing, which at least nets him 1 frag. Cajun, if he peers into window here, he might just be dead. 17 HP, that's just a single tag.
It's all about the patience game at this point. Molotov goes in, that'll force csgo back towards jungle. Flit not walking in, obviously, with a fire up, so Fizzcrack has gotten to a decent position, but csgo, he surely hears this, sprays away with the MP9, not the kill though. That might just cost him his life in the near future, but Nico towards the ticket box, Jerry takes him away, and this is looking so good for forZe. Another kill for Fizzcrack, and surely OpTic have to save.
Yeah, it's runaway time. Oh, Cajun just really not having luck on his side there. Decides to dip away from jungle the second they move up through connector. And when he swings back, not able to find the frag onto Flit, which leaves 1 player over towards Ticket, kind of on a stranded island against 3 players from forZe. And yeah, this is nightmare status for OpTic right now because they've been completely reset. And I mean, well, they're saving. There's other ways to actually get some savings in here, Dinko.
There definitely is. If you head over to GG.Bet.com and use the code SIV, you'll have a chance to secure your bet and get a little bit of a bonus going on over there as well. So make sure you head over to GG.Bet while there's a short little lull here, 13 seconds to get on over.
Yeah, might add into that as well. Looking at the money on the side of OpTic, it doesn't seem like they have too much firepower going into this. This one. Config has bought up an M4. Or, well, I say bought up an M4. He has an M4 from the previous round. Same thing with Tessus, but an AK. But a little bit hard-pressed to see those two being able to swing this back completely. Config's going to get aggressive, though, and that might be the answer. We'll see, though. Oh, Flit already in an active position here to deal with that.
Or not. That's OpTic are gone. They just ran away from that one.
Bailed out. They're having none of it, and actually they're going to stack up heavily towards that B-bomb site.
Is that the right call, though, here? Z-Power wants to try and get his way through towards Palace. He's going to take quite a bit of damage on board, though. Tessus spots the left side of him. He's very careful to not try and overextend against Z-Power. He'll leave his teammate Jerry to do the work. Flick comes in as well. Config finds 1 for OpTic, but it's not enough just yet. Still a minute to play with as Jerry clears Underwood. Config's just sitting back in CT, but the rest of the cavalry are coming in towards his position. Flit has dropped 2 players. It's all on Config, goes for the transfer, and he will burn alive. It's 8-3. OpTic are looking a little bit dire at the minute, and forZe, they're looking clean and clinical.
They really are. Haven't lost a step since Moscow. But again, they do have an affinity to play extremely well during these invitationals. We haven't had a single final without them at the very end. So I guess they would just want to maintain tradition. Z-Power's going to find Config, and MSL's not able to get a return. So man advantage with forZe. They're really starting to get a chokehold here on this match.
Kind of scary. We do talk about forZe having a very solid T side, but it's not like their CT side's weak either. You're going to have to get a few runs if you're on the CT side here. You can't allow forZe to just walk away in such a dominant fashion, but there is still a chance to find a round win here. Z-Power looking in towards short. Nico in behind the boxes. And Z-Power will hold the angle. Nico not overextending just yet. That Molotov will either force him to peek or force him to fall away back in towards the B-bomb site. There's a flash to go over the top. Face Crack clears in towards ladder room. And a flash again will be received. It'll go over towards the short position. Nico not blinded by it. He does have to look away, but he gets one kill for his troubles. Missed smoke from Tessus as he tries to fall away back in towards the B-bomb site. Again, forZe are not showing anything. They're good at just sort of taking a kill here and there, but not overcommitting. It leaves them with so many options across the board, and it's kept OpTic guessing throughout the CT side.
Absolutely.
Look at this position as well from Cherry. Tessus is just never going to expect this. Goodbye. What? Okay. Never mind.
A little bit premature. There we go. I just wanted to make sure, you know, everything was
all good.
Yeah. Look in the hood. What's not good in the hood is the fact that the bomb has been dropped, though, on short.
Yeah, the smoke comes in, though. MSL.
Just going to have to chance it. Oh, unfortunate timing.
Even if a player doesn't cross into the smoke there to get the bomb, MSL has to fire a shot off, right? And that does just give away his position that there's an op watching it, and that gives it the info where the last player is.
Yep.
So, really, completely impossible for MSL to win that as soon as the smoke came through. So, 9-3. forZe looking so strong at the minute. OpTic not showing too much at all.
Oh, they really aren't, and I guess maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself with my expectations, but I'll still give it, I guess...
Maybe they've got something on the T side.
Yeah, exactly, right? There's not that many ways you can revolutionize, I guess, the CT side of things.
They definitely have practice. You can see it.
Yeah.
Like, the mid-tick was solid. I feel like it's just forZe playing better.
That's the thing. I think you can also give them a bit of leeway because they're playing against a team that is in really, really good form.
Yeah. Which is really nice to see, actually. We've got quite a few CIS teams starting to come in form. I seen a tweet the other day from, I can't remember who it was, but someone had said that it's kind of crazy that the third best CIS team has Simple on it.
Yeah, I mean, Avangar and forZe, they're doing pretty all right for themselves. I mean, forZe with the way they've been playing. Again, if they come back consistency, I think the major obviously is going to put a couple of people down on them, but if they had I guess, played up to potential or played up to their normal level at the major, they would have been through to the next stage. And at that point, you're looking at forZe very easily being a top 10 team in the world. Yep. I think that's completely fair.
Definitely with the way things are going.
Yeah, they are damn good.
I don't remember who said it, but there was a whole thing going around about Jerry not speaking English, and that's why he couldn't play on the likes of Hellraisers or one of those teams in the future. And certainly can speak English. We've seen that at Blast. He was he's quite proficient in his English, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like his interviews.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. He actually goes a little bit in depth. Actually gives you answers instead of just you know, we played our game, we focused on ourselves, like all that.
Yeah, it was quite crazy how this team's progressed as well. Because at Copenhagen Games at the start of the year, Jerry won the MVP, and he got the MVP, and he just started going. He was so excited that he won it. He was so shocked that the MVP was for him. And it's definitely changed. Things are looking a lot better for forZe now that they've kind of rocketed away from that win at Copenhagen Games.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny to see how important, because again, Copenhagen Games it's once a year. It's obviously none of the big dogs attending, but it's always such a vital stepping stone for a lot of these teams. If you look at Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Previous Copenhagen Games winner on that team, winners on that team, they're now making it very far into majors. That is.
It's pretty mental, really.
Absolutely. But it's super cool to see, and I think it's needed to have those kind of tournaments around in the circuit for... Yeah.
There could be more of them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the only examples we give there is Copenhagen Games. And like you said, it only happens once a year, so... And you can see the level of impact it has for a lot of these teams. If we have more of them, perhaps some of these up-and-coming teams would have more chances again to prove themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, forZe have definitely done that part of proving themselves. Now they want to prove that they're good enough to potentially close this out 3-12. 13 is out of reach, but still be okay with 12 rounds on the T side, by all means.
Well, MSL will drop Z-Power. they've been finding kills here and there, OpTic. There's 20 seconds, so maybe this will be one they put on the board as config and csgo cleanly sweep up Almirza and Jerry. FaZeCrack joins that tally as well, as it's not left into a 1v5. 10 seconds. Wants to try and die before time, even though he hasn't got many problems. FaZeCrack certainly does. Yeah. So if he can take away a couple of these guns as well and save on over, he can drop over that AK to FaZeCrack.
Yeah. It is really only FaZeCrack, though, who's having any sort of financial woes. See, Z-Power, Jerry, Almirza were all sitting on a hefty amount of cash. Now they've kind of divvied that up, and everyone's looking fine and dandy going into the last round of the first half. That's the scoreboard as well. Jerry, as you said, the MVP of Copenhagen Games, looking like the MVP here in the first half as well.
That's always the thing we always say when we cast forwards is, who's going to be the MVP today?
Yeah, it is a bit of a toss-up, isn't it? Which is it's very refreshing, though.
It's a nice luxury to have, right?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the players that I thought was on an individual level, just from having watched him in the past and in FaZeCrack, I thought he would be by far the weakest individual, but he's definitely made strides in terms of becoming a better player, which is really, really cool. How does Jerry actually win out that duel?
He's quicker than an AWP in taking that kill. FaZeCrack will get Nico, and config will try and have to make the play here. He has to really find at least one.
Probably two as well, honestly.
He doesn't get any.
It's not going to do any good. Cajun's position is known as well, so and he knows that he can't make the rotation time in towards spawn to potentially catch anyone from forwards off guard, but he actually does go through the vents and find Jerry. Follows that up with a frag onto Flit, and now all of a sudden we're down into 2v2.
That is incredible from csgo. There's a chance here for him to do it all as well. Z-Power and Almirza are the last two players standing. It's into a 2v2. The A-bomb site under their control, and Z-Power with the scope is checking all of the angles, even the one his teammates watching. As csgo slithers towards stairs, he wants this ace clutch. He wants it to come through. It is the 2v2 as well, so he has a backup from his teammate. Smokers on the bomb site. Z-Power drops Tesla, so it has to be csgo, and Z-Power will find him as well. A great double kill to close the half. An 11-4-1 from forZe. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, they're looking solid as ever. And again, we are holding some hope alive for OpTic and their T side, considering the fact that they have been prepping so heavily for the tournaments that are coming up, and that includes this Invitational. But yeah, there's no real doubt as to who's the dominant force in the first half, and it's pretty reflective in the odds from GG.Bet as well. forZe at 1.04 on the live odds right now, and OpTic nearing double digits. That's the only place they're actually nearing double digits at this stage.
Yeah, I like that one. But it is true, sadly, for OpTic.
It is a bit harsh,
but sometimes the truth hurts.
Well, as if OpTic can turn things around, obviously very dependent on a pistol round to get him off to a hot start. They did get the pistol round in the first half. Keep that in mind, but that was immediately answered by forZe.
And then forZe went on to win 4 in a row. So
kind of just took off from there. We'll see, though, how long OpTic can hang in this. And again, to reiterate, even though OpTic might end up losing this map here versus forZe, they're not going to be out of it. They would then be faced with Epsilon in a, I guess, elimination match.
You got to feel somewhat that OpTic should be favorites to win that. Either of these teams should be favorites to win that. So
absolutely.
They should be staying alive.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Almirza up towards the apartments. OpTic starting to gather their troops here with the utility coming in towards the B-bomb site. Almirza peeks into the open. Great first headshot. Has the help of his teammate also to back him up as Nico moves right in towards the site. Flit will take that one. FaZeCrack as well. This is a massacre. Finally, a kill comes back in for MSL and csgo, but it's not enough just yet. They're still fighting with a deficit. Bomb rolls to the site as well, and MSL, it just gets harder and harder for it. He will try and take the kill into Jerry, but with so many shots, and it's 12-4. OpTic do not find the pistol at the start that they want is not available to them.
Yeah, that was the opposite of it. They ran into a bit of a B stack there. The quick rotations come in. A 3-man defense where forZe actually gets the initial frags as well. So you're kind of running into meat grinder from that point on. Flit staying alive and bench or by bench for so long as well makes it nearly impossible for OpTic to turn that round back in their favor. So forZe up to 12. And yeah, more or less fully invested into SMGs, 2 FAMASes. Really want to hold on to some utility at least going into this. Contact play being made up Tetris. Just seeing if they can get a bomb plant down. It's looking to be a little bit hard though. There we go, 2 frags, config, Tessis combining. Yeah, still stuck by Tetris, and eventually the 2 remaining players on the OpTic side do fall. It's not the cleanest round from forZe, but again, they had predominantly SMGs, so they're probably not going to be too flustered about that. Z-Power already up on that op. So life is good.
It's kind of crazy that this game has the potential to be more one-sided than Mousesports versus X Epsilon.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous.
It kind of speaks to the quality of forZe, though.
Yeah, definitely. And something I love seeing is the glass cannon that always comes out on Z-Power all the time. I feel like they're one of the teams that do it the most.
But it's so damn consistent with it as well. They do mess up their Molotov smoke setup at least a little bit. Face crack has his extinguished, but they do a lot of damage here early on. Ooh, okay, that's a shot through this. Well, not through the smoke, actually. It's config from Underpass.
Yeah, 2 very quick kills coming in there for OpTic. Config catching Z-Power after the missed shot. He was alerted to the window position. Flit doesn't spot Config falling back either, but he might hear on the chair. But Config seems to be ready for it. He will take a lot of damage, drop the 3 HP, but he's still alive. And again, Caster's curse. Jerry drops him, and that's Config hitting the deck.
We'll see where Jerry opts to go. That's going to be the linchpin here of this round. I think Almazer only has an MP9, so it's going to be really tough for him to get multiple frags.
Almazer sitting on default. The timing, if he gets it right, he might just get a kill, but unfortunately, the timing is horrible, and he doesn't get a single kill there. So Jerry on the op, drops CajunB, the boost coming in, flit over the top of the bin, looking for a player, but there's no one on that side of the map. They're playing all towards ramp. Ramp and Tetris.
Yeah, they do have a smoke on the side of forZe, so they could potentially try to do something with that. They know that there's nobody over towards Palace, but again, with the real estate OpTic had, they could have had rotations coming around towards short. Again, it's a bit of a nightmare for forZe to really deal with the entire situation as it is, and holding on to that up, allowing Z-Power to get another chance of potentially wreaking havoc, I think that's perfectly justifiable. OpTic on their end, they don't really have the economy here to go chasing either, so both teams are going to be pretty content with how this played out. OpTic finally put a T round on the board. I say finally, but it's more or less the first chance they had after losing pistol. But they really need to get going and pretty much reconstruct the same kind of hot streak that we saw to forZe on their T side to stay alive in this. Looking at the buy that comes in from forZe here. 2 rifles, Deagle a 5.7, and an op on Z-Power. This time with head armor.
Yeah, we've seen them work with less.
Absolutely. So. Jerry with that 5.7 usually finds a frag or 2. He can really wheel that gun.
So the flash eventually comes. I was going to say, something that forZe were doing quite effectively was flashing that player off that angle. Finally, a flash does come in from OpTic that forces Z-Power away. It's pretty crazy that $200 is the difference between losing a man early and not. And a great flashback from Almazer coming in. It's going to drop Nico, and that's the man advantage picked up for forZe.
That's very well done. So proactive as well. forZe has been really good about that on their CT side across pretty much their entire map pool of changing up their CT setups, but also mixing in a fair bit of aggression as well. It's not just sitting back and hanging out. Oh, that's nicely done from Face Crack. You might find a second one as well, and that's about as clean as you can get.
Yeah, that just all happened so quick.
11 damage was all they took that round.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And
everyone picked up a weapon.
Again. Oh, this is nuts. 14.01.
Yeah, this is like what we saw in Mousesports versus X Epsilon.
What is going on?
forZe being forZe, I suppose.
Yeah, very, very well played here from them. OpTic have really not stood a chance whatsoever. I think they're one of the teams that haven't had the pleasure of playing them recently on LAN or whatever. And now they're getting to see what the rest of the world have to fight against.
Yeah. That's a bit of a rough one. It seems like OpTic got a little bit flustered when they lost control of B apps. It's hard to kind of retake map control from that point on when you know Almazer has been basically pushed up so heavily and so far forward that he could very easily be in stairs towards underpass or already pushing in towards T-spawn without you having any sort of knowledge on it, which puts a timer on you. And I think that's why we see them actually move through all the cluster in connector.
Well, the most tantalizing thing about the scoreline at the minute is it's currently looking like we're going to get a forZe Mouse Sports best of 3. And that is pretty nice.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a fan of that. Both teams, obviously, so far in this, their initial best of 1 is looking pretty damn good. And again, I guess we shouldn't necessarily already write forZe's ticket to the next round, as we're not done, but looking primed to do so.
OpTic taking control of short, multiple players already there, and a flash coming in, and Config shooting his own teammate in the head. Luckily, MSL will still walk away with the kill, but Almazer will get 2. Back and forth we go. 3v3, bomb getting planted here from OpTic as they head their way towards the B bomb site. A successful start for them on the T side here. Let's see if they can get it done in round number 20, trying to take it over the line. As forZe coming back in for the retake attempt, 3 players in the kitchen. MSL coming in for a big flank as well. They need to go quickly, otherwise MSL is going to absolutely destroy them.
Well, it gets 1.
Yeah, the trigger discipline wasn't really there for MSL. It just took 1 kill.
Well, it creates enough chaos to at least put Jerry off the idea of going for it. He's going to hold on to that up and bail the hell out. So making sure that nobody follows him. He's going to be successful in doing so. But OpTic, yeah, they bring it back once again. Very dangerous position there in that 3v3. I think forZe a little bit more hesitant than what they should be, but that's partly because they have their entire rotation coming through kitchen. It doesn't allow you too much wiggle room in terms of setting up pincer movements or having an easy time flashing each other out into aggressive positions in that retake. But nonetheless, OpTic handled that very well in the end.
So 14-6. Smokes are going to go on towards the bomb site. It's going to be a simple A execute, it seems, from OpTic, and they have been keeping their calls pretty simple in these last couple of rounds, and perhaps simplicity is the way to go for OpTic as they start their approach on in. FaceCrack is not moving from upper wood. He wants to line them up, but doesn't get a single kill. GG.Bet and Tessis find success for OpTic, and the bomb is planted. This might just be the save call coming in from forZe already. Another simple hit from OpTic, and it works flawlessly. CPower trying his best to take away Nico, but it's not going to come his way. Instead, he'll have to fall away in towards the B bomb site. And I think that pretty much confirms the save call, and OpTic know this. Not really in a position to hunt, though.
That is the issue, and if they do overextend, somebody on the side of forZe is going to be weary about actually punishing them for it. That's Nico down, and I think that's going to stop any sort of forward movement from OpTic. But again, they're getting rounds on the board, and that's really all they're looking to do here. Doesn't matter what fashion they get it in. It remains to be seen if this is going to be the case of just prettying up the final result, or if there's an actual comeback at hands. We saw even Epsilon as well. You know, they managed to grab a couple of rounds together and make things a little bit prettier, even with 4 players on the server.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing, right? It was mainly Surreal who was doing all the work there, and a few mistakes here and there from Robs that were very interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's easy for teams when you get off to this dominant of a lead to kind of let your foot off the gas for a time being. Yeah. We'll see though if this is just OpTic finding answers really to the setups of forZe.
Kind of just hoping that the momentum you've built up is enough to just let it freewheel to victory, but it's not enough just yet. They definitely still have a bit ahead of them, and OpTic starting to heat up a bit. You know, they 2 simple calls get them the 2-round wins, but obviously get to see what they're made of here. Mirage, as they've got the weapons in their hands, they've got utility, but MSL has been caught off. No one really covering his connector position there.
That is a weird one.
I actually thought the smoke was still up.
Could be the case, but I feel like, well, you have one player, it's Config over towards Delta, and he's not really holding anything at all. If you have Tess is watching for window.
Yeah, super weird setup there in mid, but Zeepa, such a quick, inaccurate shot. He goes back for more, and luckily, for my brain, he doesn't hit that second one, because that would have been ridiculous. Molotov up as well. 37 seconds. Eventually, OpTic are going to have to just wing something at the wall and hope it stays there as they go on in towards the site. Z-Power with another one. It's all on Testis at the top of the stairs. And it's 1 kill, make it 2 for tessus as he tries to line up the rest on short. A valiant attempt, but it's forZe who reach map point.
Yeah. Cherry's already made sure that op is going to be brought forward to Z-Power as well. Now, it's a do or die time for OpTic. If they can bring it back into OT, not looking very likely. Feels like with the way forZe are playing, they're eventually going to be able to just lock into a round.
Definitely. I mean, this is a good chance to do it, right? OpTic's buy is not that good.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I was expecting that, expecting the smoke coming in the window from T-spawn on the side of OpTic. Doesn't happen though. He's not as early as he wanted it.
That kind of tells a tale in itself though, right? That's kind of info to play with for Z-Power, that they may be on a lower buy. And it will be MSL who will get 1 kill for the T side, make it 2 on the Krieg, and the B bomb site has fallen again. This is the best chance for OpTic to find a win here, as Z-Power's dropped to 24. MSL doing it all.
Yeah, this is just going to send force backing. MSL needed to step up big. I think Almazer had an opportunity to play that a little bit more cool than what he did, but he saw the opportunity to potentially get 1 frag in the window. But not being able to connect the shot does him in. So yeah, even with the limited buy, OpTic still managed to stay alive. Now it's a matter of how many players they can actually bring forward into the next round with weaponry, though. You've seen FaceCrack here, posted up outside of B-Apps. There's no need for OpTic, though, to run all the way out here, so they should be fine unless FaceCrack decides to run in. That's not going to be the case. Well, more focus on their own economy than potentially destroying OpTics at this stage, and that makes sense. I mean, you're at match point, no need to necessarily risk anything and put yourself in an awkward position. Again, scoreboard. Jerry, Z-Power leading the way for forZe, and Config being the one to lead the fragging in the OpTic department. He was quite a ways ahead of everyone else already in the first half, though, so we're seeing more and more production out of the other OpTic players here in the second one.
Z-Power gonna be looking down the barrel in towards the apartments. Config has actually picked up that first kill, but Jerry has replied. OpTic, he's just gonna have to commit to it right through in towards the A bomb site, and he catches Almazer away. So this is looking good for OpTic.
Are they gonna expect Flit though?
Oh, he's just hiding in the smoke.
Oh, and they're actually bailing out of the bomb site.
So many flashes coming his way, and Flit, he's just still there. They're backing off. Nico wants to make the play towards the B-bomb site, and Z-Power, he's going to pick up that kill. Is that the call to go back in towards A, though? As MSL's in firebox, this is unbelievable that this could happen. Flit is under wood. There's a chance here for forZe to win this, and that just should never happen.
Oh, they're still going to try to sell it with the Molotov here. MSL throws it out towards...
no, Flit knows. Flit knows that he's there. He will take that kill, looks back over towards ramp. At least tessus is able to win that fight. So it's on to Z-Power into a 1v2 clutch, but this is doable.
This is so back and forth. Cajun's still not actually rotating off. Z-Power definitely thinks he's legged it over. Cajun.
What is that run from OpTic?
that is all so over confusing. The place.
It's kind of, okay, we'll execute it towards A. We've got A. Let's leave A.
Yeah, I'm curious if they had any sort of idea that Flit was there at one point. Obviously, there was a smoke down to deal with any sort of Molotovs under balcony. So they knew that there was one unidentified CT side player still left alive somewhere on A, and they didn't want to chance it. That could have been it.
Yeah, with Nico pushing all the way through B, if he takes that kill in the Z-Power, it's definitely the right play.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
Just had quite a bit of risk involved in it. And obviously,
he could have hung out on site, could have guaranteed a plant, but again, if you kill a Z-Power in that situation, you've won the round. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Oh, nice connection onto tessus.
Nearly gets the second as well on the MSL. Looking away from the flashbang, and MSL is going to be looking towards short. The timing needs to be perfect here. Molotov in towards window. Config has caught Flit off. Jerry's gone on a bit of a push through Palace. There's currently a player waiting for that.
Yeah, Cajun just alternating where he wants to look, and I guess if Lady Fortuna is against him, he might not get the timing he wants, but he does. Easily dealt with. So, bringing down the numbers on the side of forZe. There's been a P250 picked up on Almazer, but likelihood of them being able to, well, change this up completely into their favor is not very likely. And especially with Cajun finding Z-Power and apps, that should be pretty much everything done and dusted. Can assume, though, that OpTic are going to take their merry time about clearing out the sites with a couple of scares they've had in the previous rounds.
So double figures reach for OpTic. Starting to recover pretty well.
Yeah. And if nothing else, if it's not going to end up being an actual comeback victory, anything of the sort, at least they can feel like they got into the groove of things and that their key side seems to be working pretty decently.
And the crazy thing about that was that they actually got off to a good start because of the simplistic calls that they made. You know, there was a very simple hit in towards the B-bomb site, then an A execute, and that's really what worked for them, was just letting the individuals on OpTic show up in a big way. And I think that maybe if they overcomplicate it, that's when things start to crumble a little bit more.
And getting into their own heads, trying to throw rotations a little bit too much back and forth. So far, so good, at least. 3 rounds in a row for OpTic here as they make it to double figures.
So this could be the last round, or it could be another round of the board for OpTic, and we could be steamrolling our way to overtime. It's definitely hard to call. We'll see if forZe can topple the attacking side of OpTic. They have got a decent buy to do it. They just lack a bit of utility. And with OpTic starting to gain momentum, starting to gain confidence perhaps as well, this is where the Danes might find themselves chipping away at the lead that forZe have got. Bit by bit, piece by piece. If you just take it round by round, you can definitely find yourself at the equal score line of 15 each and bring it to overtime. As FaZeCrack trying to hold in towards underpass, there's a player just beyond the wall. As config is just waiting for it, hasn't walked over the edge just yet. As smoke comes in, it's going to be a deep one that allows the vision of FaZeCrack to look over the top. And config is just trying to win this battle inside of connector.
Deep smoke for top connector. Still not going to deal with FaZeCrack, though.
Yeah, FaZeCrack is literally sat there for quite a few seconds at this point. Nearly the entire round has been played around getting this connector control, and yet config hasn't even moved from underpass.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm curious if there's a reason why they're so passive. It seems like Tessus might have had a bit of an oopsie.
Oh, no. There hasn't been any damage taken, so we should be able to just restart the round.
Exactly. And yeah, you can hear the typing going on in chat as well, so that's definitely one of the sides calling for a pause. You'd assume OpTic. Because, yeah, I highly doubt that it's part of the strategy for Tessus to just look inside the wall and not really do a whole lot. This is definitely not a part of how a normal round plays out.
Well, good chance here for forZe to win the game. Config. There we go. So yeah, obviously there's no damage being done, and that's why we're allowed to restart the game. If forZe had got aggressive and got some damage dealt, that probably would have nullified the whole thing.
Yeah, that would have been a bit of a disaster for OpTic, especially when they're on a bit of a streak here. Starting to get into the groove of things. But in any case, regardless of how this pans out for OpTic long term, the fact that they've been able to basically have their T side work from a very pressured situation is a good sign. I mean, we did talk about the fact that we didn't necessarily get to see too much out of them in terms of what they've done preparation-wise from their CT side, but that's really the kind of stuff that comes through on your T side.
Yeah. Let's see some of the shots already being done from this game. The highlights are quite nasty, quite a few of them. We've had some really nice plays coming in from both sides. You can actually just see from the highlights that the scoreline has just gradually ticked upwards for OpTic. It's looking so dire at one point, but decent chance here for them to perhaps pull it all the way to overtime. As we were just about ready to get back into things, there is a small pause as we wait for Tessus to return to the server. And I think Tessus is a bit of a talking point in himself, right? You know, a lot of people assumed, because OpTic players knew that they would be removing the organization, wouldn't be there anymore, that they picked up TeSeS as a sort of a cheaper option, a player that you could just throw into the roster. You know, he's not going to be there for too long. But even now that it seems that OpTic are able to make roster moves, dropping refresh, they've obviously seen something in TeSeS that they want to keep, which is a positive sign.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've seen signs, we've seen promising things coming out of him, you know, here and there. And again, if he's a player that fits into MSL's system, I think that's the more valuable part of it as well. Because again, you can find tons of skilled individual players in Denmark. There's no doubt about that. But having a person who's able to fit in a team is really what you're looking for.
Yeah, that incredible performance in the grand final of the last Invitational. I think he boasted a 2.1 rating or something like that on HLTV. So
yeah.
And against this very team on Overpass, which was quite crazy. But we'll see what happens here, though, as he has returned to the server. TeSeS is back, and we got a buy coming in from both teams yet again. Will OpTic decide to go with the same approach? Will forZe decide to go with the same approach? Now that they know perhaps OpTic are going to be playing passive, do you want to throw something aggressive into the mix?
We'll see. I mean, there's definitely an opportunity for it. And again, forZe are not a team that shies away from having aggressive setups. We've seen that already here. Saw the double push from, well, I guess the aggressive flashing for Almazar in B-apps already so far in this matchup. We haven't necessarily seen too much out of it over towards the bomb site or necessarily the cookie cutter mid aggression type of thing, but it's definitely something that forZe know how to do.
Well, MSL flash in towards middle. You'll be peeking with the AWP in towards connector. As there's the aggression we're talking about. 2 players up through Palace from forZe already. They're getting so much info off of this. And csgo, he's the only player for OpTic in towards the A bomb site. So forZe with this aggression, they're still going through towards T-spawn. Config's gone back to his regular position, but this time there's no one in the connector. This is unbelievable. Zeepar's pushed all the way through Palace. They have to just keep going at this point, surely.
Too far gone, right?
Just keep going as far as you can go. There's no one watching this. It is going to be, though, a mid-take from OpTic. They've used up quite a bit of utility in taking it. The only real weakness here would be, now that they've pushed so far in towards T-spawn, can they get back towards A in time to help face crack if things go sour? But csgo, he has no idea what's going on right now. He is holding ramp for aggressive pushes, but there's players just walked all the way behind him, and he has no idea that that's just happened. So Jerry, he has the element of surprise right now.
It all comes down to how quickly they move about, right? If OpTic go into their motion right now, then Jerry's not in a position where he can actually punish them. Ooh.
Oh no.
Zeepar actually gets distracted by seeing the players drop down.
Well, this push is just amounted to literally nothing as he has to make his way back through middle. The A bomb site is completely open, and csgo will clear under Palace. What was looking so good for forZe maybe just crumbled. This face crack runs right through CT. He will take Config's head off, but TeSeS, he will be there. MSL drops Jerry on the attempted flank and is a 2v4 with OpTic finding success again. I like the idea behind forZe's aggression there, but in the end, nothing else. It didn't really work.
At the end of the day.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, OpTic, they're still staying in this here. That's a pretty impressive feat considering what they really were faced with to start off the second half. Also, nice little added bonus for OpTic here to be able to make sure nobody on forZe's side actually... Bit of a skip rope thing with AWP bullets. But yeah, making sure that nobody on the side of forZe actually were able to retrieve the AWP that Z-Power dropped on the A-bomb site. So not going to see any snipers coming out, but we do see an investment from forZe here. And it's not a full commitment, but it is a bit of a tricky one here. 3 MP9s bought into it with like Kevlar.
Surely we get to see some action from this, and yeah, there it is. Z-Power running straight through underpass, flit up towards the boxes in mid, but Z-Power, he might just get the best of Config. The answer was no, as Config able to drop him with the AK, expecting the aggression or the possibility of it. And knows that they're on a weaker buy now, so he can call that to his team. Nico knows where that smoke's come from. He might just expect this, but the one way is strong. Almazer on the corner. Nico should be aware that this is a possibility.
He might just wait until the smoke fades, and at that point, Almazer might decide to reposition.
Or just goes forward. Almazer walks right in towards the waiting arms of Nico. I think Nico played that one very well.
That he did. Jerry, not with the ideal weaponry, is going to fall to config, and MSL follows up with the potential trade that would have been for face crack. Flit left alone inside of window room. He's not really in a position to do anything at all here. But maybe there's a world where he's able to hold on to that M4.
35 seconds to do so. He got into this position at the start of the round and then stayed there. So this might be where he ends it as well.
A man of conviction.
Yeah. And a config. Oh. What? I still got that. Oh my god. Yeah, that's rough. Flit definitely should have got that kill. But it is going to be 15-12. And here we go again. A chance for they're fourth spot again.
Yeah, but this is what they allow themselves to do with the MP9 purchase, right? They left themselves around anywhere from, I think it was between $1,000 to $1,600 on the people who reinvested. So, yeah, they're still within a shot of actually getting a buy-in. Obviously, you do fear a little bit about the fact that, or you do kind of hate to see the fact that they don't have full utility, which has kind of been a recurring theme for them here on the CT side.
Definitely could have been avoided, though, if they didn't go with the MP9 purchase in the last round.
Absolutely. But it's one of the risks you take, I suppose. For the better part of it, forZe are normally a rather conservative team when it comes to their purchases. They don't necessarily force up a whole lot. They're not as
contrary to their name, of course.
Yeah, and they're not as crazy about necessarily kitting out Z Power with a single op and pistols behind it like a team such as Avangard would.
Yeah.
So, interesting to see different approaches to it. But right now, this is all about OpTic here. 5 rounds in a row. Still trying to fight back into this for OT.
There they go. Jerry is going to be sitting back towards CT. Ticket MSL will drop face crack. Jerry looking for some action. And the push is starting to come through from OpTic. A very simple hit yet again. forZe are going to have to sit back and play this one on retake. And the problem with the retake with a man deficit is it's very difficult.
Yeah, add to the fact that they haven't really been having utility a whole lot of the time. That doesn't really help you at all. And at this point, you kind of need to, well, cut your losses. Z-Power, have him hold on to that off going further into future rounds. See if he can actually just hang out, and maybe Flit can actually find a secondary weapon or an upgrade to his MP9. There's no way you're actually winning this retake. Flit's definitely going to get something to shoot at here.
Ooh.
This time he nails config.
Yeah, he gets a second attempt at it. He's not messing up again.
Oh, is he going to get caught by Nico, though? Nico's going to come in with the perfect angle.
But Flit's aware that this is a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the angle, and Nico's going to drop. So realistically, that's brilliant from Flit. So good stuff. He saves on over. forZe again have a chance here to buy. Going to be lacking utility once more, but this is really do or die time. If they don't pick this up, it's going to be overtime, surely.
You'd think so, right? But, I mean, for the kind of buy they scraped together here, is Z-Power actually not opting to get utility yet?
Come on.
We've got 3K. Oh, okay, he just wants to have an op for the next round as well.
Fair enough. I mean, his teammates have got enough around him, so let's see if Z-Power can get it done on that op. He goes so aggressive towards middle. No one from OpTic challenging just yet. They have got Tessus, the lone player, back there. His head spotted by Z-Power, but they spotted each other.
He's going to duck out. He knows that they could peek him from 2 different angles or 2 different heights. That's what would have happened if he had not moved. So escapes death for the time being. Posts himself up in connector. Gets fully blinded as well. Oh, I think face crack's been spotted. Right, wasn't initially, but still gets the kill.
Ooh, well, Jerry, that was a risky play if he is to overcommit in mid. Luckily, he has Z-Power somewhat watching the top boxes. Nico doing Nico things in towards the apartments. He is
that's bomb
being called upon inside of B, but it's a kill from Almazer that comes through on towards Nico. The bomb has burned away to the floor, and it's Config and GG.Bet. He'll have to step up, and in 2v4, it's Config with the first kill. still doable, still within touching distance. They have got 45 seconds to play with, but if they're able to capitalize, this will be it.
It's retrieving bomb and actually being able to go anywhere from this point on. They don't have smokes left on their side unless they pick something up. So, yeah, BApps might be the only option here. Cajun's already made his way forward. There is one player here. If Almazir finds the kill onto Cajun, I'm very hard to press to see how Config's going to win this out.
He's got such a good angle as well. They should be able to get it, but a great flashbang from csgo as he hops it towards the site, but he falls. Config trades immediately, but it's a 1v2. Taps the bomb, looks for the kill. He's got that as well, but Z-Power comes in from behind, and Config hits the deck. It's a 16-13 win. forZe eventually get it done, but it was definitely not easy towards the end there.
Yeah, it did end up becoming the game that we sort of expected. It just had a different trajectory of how we got there, I suppose. But yeah, OpTic fighting back in a valiant effort on their T side, and I guess, yeah, you can see where the prep works. And it's not necessarily the most advanced strats that we're seeing out of them, but again, once they execute, once they commit to strategy, it's very well executed, and that's really what it all comes down to. You can do the simplest thing in the world, as long as it's well executed, it's usually pretty effective.
Well, it is Mirage, though, you know, one of those maps that you can't reinvent the wheel every single time,
no,
right?
It's fair.
So they certainly have got the simple stuff nailed, and the CT side can definitely be improved upon, though, as, for both teams, that is, because the T side was definitely the victorious sides today. We have got a short break coming up, but after the break, we've got the winner's best of 3 matchup. It's going to be forZe taking on mousesports, and that's going to be the game of the day. Make sure you don't leave, stay here. We've got a great game coming up after this.